fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
People love to say sex work is recession-proof, that it's easy money, that it's not real creative labor.
But Siri Dahl knows better. She's an adult performer, content creator, and like a lot of other creators, she's built a career on skill, strategy, and a whole lot of behind-the-scenes hustle.
I mean, over 80% of my entire business revenue, which is what I depend on to live, is coming from OnlyFans.
The truth? This work isn't easy. It's underestimated, over-scrutinized, and increasingly unstable, even for those at the top of their game.
I have help. I'm not doing everything on my own all the time. I have a business manager that helps me. I pay people to help me. And yet still, it's like this insurmountable mountain of stuff.
This episode isn't just about sex work. It's about how we value creative labor, who gets excluded from the conversation, and what it really takes to survive when your income depends on platforms that weren't built for you. The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how. I'm Anna Marie Cox.
And I'm Open Mike Eagle. And this is Past Due.
Siri, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So I'm going to jump in because I get to ask this question. It's our first question. When's the last time you worried about covering your monthly expenses?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Coming in so hot.
Just setting the tone for everybody. It's almost always a surprising answer, I will tell you.
Honestly, recently, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that new, or is it sort of a constant thing you have to
It
observe?
is a little bit newer. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into what I do, how I make money, but it's just, in the industry that I'm in, it's every month is a fluctuation. And I will say that just so far this year, 2025, it's been really unpredictable, more so than any of my past experiences. And I've been in the adult industry for almost 13 years. So yeah, it's been an interesting time. And that plus also unexpected larger expenses coming up that kind of complicate it.
So you've said
Mm-hmm.
that sex workers can be the canaries in the coal mine
Mm-hmm.
of the creator economy. I do think the idea that people might be cutting back on their porn expenditures is for certain a leading indicator of a recession. That seems like one of those necessary goods that people only cut back on. And I'm not entirely joking with that. It's kind of a funny thing to say, but
the common knowledge among people who work in the adult industry is that it's incredibly recession-proof, and historically that's proven to be true. And I mean, of course, there's a whole bunch of different caveats that you could probably insert into that. Plenty of people never pay for porn at all, not even once. So but still, I mean, it is. And then this is also happening, the economic downturn is happening at the same time that we're having all these censorship laws passed, essentially. So it's not just the economic impact on people and them having to make hard choices like, am I going to cancel this $5 a month OnlyFans subscription? It's also just like the overall suppression of adult content, um and just we're in a cultural moment where puritanical values are really popular.
You exist in the traditional industry, like you shoot well produced scenes, and then you also have an OnlyFans.
Mhm.
Um, so with the fluctuations you're facing right now from month to month,
Mhm.
is that just in terms of the creator made stuff on OnlyFans? Is that something? Is that a big portion of what you depend on every month,
Yes.
or are the industry shoots, are those also sort of fluctuating?
So yes, about like, I mean, over 80% of my entire business revenue, which is what I depend on to, to live, um, and to support my small childless family. I say that
Pets
because I
are
am the breadwinner.
expensive.
I
Actually, they're
yeah,
legitimate family members and they are expensive.
my expensive cats and my partner as well, because
Oh
I'm the
yeah.
breadwinner. I
Okay.
I financially support my partner. Um, Yeah, what my brain just totally, like, lost it with, like, joking about supporting my expensive ass cats. What was the actual question?
It
I
was the
was
OnlyFans.
It's like 2
Yeah,
seconds ago.
I was
Oh, yeah,
curious
yeah,
if
okay.
if the industry fluctuates like the OnlyFans
Got
does
it,
as well.
got it. I'm an evening active brain person. This is what happens when I have to use in my brain before, like, 5 p.m. Um, so yeah, over 80%, and this has been true since I started doing, OnlyFans back in 2019. Over 80% of my money is coming from there. The other, 15 to 20% just depends on like the month and volume of different kinds of work is coming from other platforms, mostly other platforms that I also use, whether they be like OnlyFans kind of competing platforms or some forms of like, like I have a YouTube channel that just got remonetized. I had to like apply to get monetized again because I lost monetization last year. And things also like ad revenue that I get paid from Pornhub. Um, but like truly like specifically the website OnlyFans is the vast majority of my income. Um, a very small percentage of it is actually paid shoots from studios. That's been kind of the case for a while, but it's like less and less every year. I mean, I think I don't really have a great perspective on if that's like a common experience among performers, especially like performers who have been around as long as me. There's always a bit, especially when you've been around for a long time, there's always going to be an ebb and flow to things. Like I'm not like the new hot girl that everyone's trying to book. Um, Also, I mean, I get a lot of booking requests. Well, not a lot. I mean, I probably get like one every other month that I just turn down because I'm not interested at all. So, like, what my attitude towards working for studios is like, I'm not just working to get any paycheck. Like, especially when I consider that for a typical scene rate for like, and my rates are higher than what is like probably standard for like any like garden variety performer in the industry. I also keep them low enough that like um smaller studios can afford to hire me because a lot of like I'm friends with a lot of directors that do more like indie porn, and like I want them to be able to afford my rate, or I'll negotiate it lower if that works for both of us. Um but like a lot of like really top OnlyFans girls that I've seen actually do like studio scenes, they have like astronomically high rates. So I'm only establishing that to say like when I go and do like a typical like sex scene for a studio, I'm getting a paycheck one time and it's like
Mhm.
less than $2,000.
Mm.
And like I'm never going to get any more money off of that project at all. So I don't really have a financial incentive to do a lot of studio work because I could shoot a solo scene in my bedroom and make easily like that scene. Typically, like, a typical number would probably be that scene would make me between, like, 5 and $8,000 in a year, um,
Yeah.
and it took a lot less time.
there's no residuals in the porn industry.
Correct.
It
There's no
sounds like.
residuals at all. Yeah. So
So
that being said, though, I have gotten way less shoot offers than I normally would. Like by this point in 2025, like I've had a lot less asks for booking, and while, I've had some asks that I turned down because I wasn't interested in the project, like I've actually worked 4 days on set
Mm.
for porn studios for the entire year so far, and it's August.
I mean, quick question.
Mhm.
So you turn down projects.
Mhm.
You said you don't want any paycheck. I'm
Mhm.
assuming a lot of the offers is just turned down because they're not meeting your rate. But like, what are the other reasons that
No,
you
it's
you
actually
turn
not
down shoots?
really a rate thing. It's, I mean, because you normally, like, people don't I mean, I've been around in the industry for a while, and, there's not a lot of companies I've, like, never ever worked for, so usually they know my rate because, like, I haven't changed my rates. The last time I changed my rates was in 2022. Um, I, like, increased them a bit across the board, but they've been the same since then. So companies generally, like, know. Like, most people who would be doing the work of, like, reaching out to book me, they already know. They have, like,
Mhm.
a history of what my rate is, so it's not that. It's more like if I'm not interested creatively, like,
right.
like sometimes I'm just like, no, I don't want to do another like MILF thing this month. That doesn't like because again, because I don't get residuals, I don't like working for studios doesn't pay nearly as much as just making my own content. It's like when I'm gonna be on set for a studio, like I would prefer for it to be creatively fulfilling in some regard and not just be, another one of the typical like sort of character trope scenes that gets made into a GIF ad on Pornhub. Those are really fun. I've had a lot of fun doing those, but it is just kind of like I don't know. It's not I do believe that porn is an art form and I get more excited about projects that feel maybe a little more elevated in some
Mm.
regard. That sounds so snobby to say, but it's not
This
it's
is this
not
is a
coming
safe
from a
place
place
for
of
snobs.
snobbery. It's
This
just
is a
coming
safe
from a
place for
place of
snobs.
like I've been doing this so long, like those scenes aren't as interesting. Like I've been in too many of them. It's like kind of boring to me now.
I think
I'm
this
like,
is
give
a
me
really
something
important
weird.
I think this is a really important point because I think even among, I'm going to say, like, our very well educated, very accepting, very cool, very open minded audience,
Mhm.
there are probably some assumptions about sex work and porn that they're so
Mhm.
unconscious or
Mhm.
subconscious, they don't even enter into the conversation.
Mhm.
And I think one of them might be that sex work and doing porn, OnlyFans, is not something one enters into in order to have creative fulfillment, right? Like,
That's a
that
common one I would say, yeah.
but do you wanna talk a little bit about that? Because I think even though I agree, I find it a little fascinating that it is something that one does because it's interesting
Yeah.
and fulfilling in ways that any kind of I think you used the term art?
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
any art
can
form.
be. It's an
Yeah.
art form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, God, it's not that like it's such a wild thing to me that people have that attitude because I'm like, are you paying attention to anything? Like when I hear people like really like completely write it off as like just, oh, it's just smut. There's nothing artistic about it. I'm like, okay, well, you just told me everything I need to know is like the only time you ever look at porn is when you go to a tube site and you only click on the free stuff. And you're probably basing most of your judgment on the clickbaity ads all over the site. And you're assuming that the whatever kind of aesthetic of porn that these ads are shoving in your face is like, that's all there is out there. That's all of it. And it's such a fucking lazy take. It really, really annoys me because this is a very common one. It's very common also for like mainstream celebrities to go on the record and like talk shit on the porn industry. And I'm like, y- truly, you have not explored this as an art form, as a form of media. Like you are talking out of your ass. You do not know what you're talking about. It's like there are so many people creating adult media and infusing a lot of personality, a lot of creativity, a lot of art into it. And sorry, just because you're not aware that they're doing it because you haven't seen it, like you're just it's like you're not enough of a porn hipster, okay? Like you don't
You're
know
not
the
into
deep
the
cuts.
indie porn.
Not
Like
in
you're
the porn
just
scene.
listening to the Billboard Top 40 of porn.
Right.
Sorry for you. Like
You got to touch porn grass.
yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Factor.
Cold days, big goals, absolutely zero interest in cooking? Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs.
No planning, no grocery math, no what did I buy this ingredient for?
I love that Factor has quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats.
And there's so much variety. Over 100 rotating meals every week, including the new Muscle Pro meals, if you're doing strength stuff.
And they support your diet, whether it's high protein meals, Mediterranean, whole ingredients, healthy fats, or more. Plus, there are no refined sugars or artificial sweeteners.
I've looked for something like this for a long time, and Factor really is the best.
It's good food that tastes great and is ready in about 2 minutes, always fresh, never frozen, no prep, and no stress. Head to factormeals.com/pastdue50off. That's 50 off. And use code PASTDUE50OFF to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year.
Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. One free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.
That actually leads me personally into like something I've been thinking about a lot, which is the ways in which sex work, it's going to include porn sort of exclusively, of sex work, is an indicator about both kind of the creative economy and also the gig economy, because it gets bifurcated. Perhaps this is my very non-hipster engagement with porn. I'm more of a reader, let's say, but I think that that's art too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It can be really interesting and fun and, anyway, not too much about me here, but just a thing that I have noticed in watching the industry itself, not the porn. The bifurcation seems to be there are kind of two main paths to success. One is perhaps the artistic side, right? And then the other is the extreme side.
Yeah.
That those are the two things that are easy to monetize, or easy. I don't want to say easy, but like, that's sort of gig work is like that too, right? Like you can become very, very successful on the high end, or you're kind of doing the most like drudge type of work. And here I'm talking about like the people doing the extreme marathons.
Yes.
Bonnie
Blue. Yeah.
And I don't want to question whatever enjoyment, like whatever it is that's motivating them or whatever. But it sounds like you're nodding, but perhaps like just reflect as a person who's just observing versus a person who's kind of in that world. Are you seeing that as
well? Yes. So although I just did a video, like a whole deep dive where I touched on this, that's like a video on my YouTube channel about the trend of like the extreme challenges or like extreme kind of sexual stunt work that some OnlyFans creators have become very like famous for doing. But like that as a format in porn has been around for a long time. Like Google Houston 500. Like
no.
Houston was a porn star in the 90s. She did a 500-man gangbang. I think it ended up actually being 620 in the end.
Wow.
But like
that's
and it wasn't a common thing.
I'm sorry. That just sounds like It's like running an ultra marathon.
It's stunt work.
Like,
It's
yeah.
it's shock and awe stunt work. It's not a new thing. Like, what
Right.
is new about it is the fact that it's being done in a way that the creator, the star of the production, is also like producing the entire thing and keeping all the money for themselves. And in that regard, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I'm actually like, if Bonnie Blue, she did her like 1,000 men in 24 hours, um that is, I don't think it's like wrong or judgmental or anything to say that that's crazy. Like like that's most people would not think to do that or have the follow through. Um and like there's a lot of conversations to be had around this like level of like stunt work, also just about like aspects of like the ethics of it and everything. But one thing I just will say is I would never begrudge Bonnie Blue or like Lily Phillips or Annie Knight, because they've all three of those performers have done similar extreme challenge gangbang like stunts essentially for porn. Um Good for them that they're like they own that. They own that piece of media, and they're the ones
Mhm.
who get to choose how they're selling it. Um I mean, a big part of why that type of thing hasn't been more popular in porn historically, I have a feeling it honestly would have been a lot more commonplace. But back in the days before you could make your own money when you had an agent taking a cut and the studio was paying you one flat check, like it would have been really hard to negotiate that in a way that it actually felt like the woman who's taking on all of this physical risk, because it is that many people in a short amount of time is a very much higher level of risk, like, to your body. Um, but yeah, like, it's just I just feel like there would have been more of that, and it's already been around for a while, but probably we would have seen more of it had the, performers actually stood to profit more fairly from it. So it's kind of a symptom of not just the sort of like everyone has to go viral aspect to like survive. And I don't just mean people in porn. I mean like anyone who creates content online. It's like the whole goal is that we all have to like chase this algorithm and go viral to like make a living essentially to stay afloat. And then it's obviously just kind of compounded by other factors.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant about this, how it looks like the rest of the creator economy,
Hmm.
which is, and I want to validate again, no judgment. Like, I also think it's great that they're controlling it. But what I worry about is the arms race, let's say,
Yes. Yeah.
and how that is accelerated also because
Hmm.
our attention span is so short.
Yes.
And we're always looking the next thing, the next thing, the next bit,
Yeah.
the next more extreme thing.
Yes. That is
And
the part that I find concerning as well. Whether it's like my concern about it doesn't come from a place of it's not so much coming from a place of like a slippery slope argument of like, oh no, what crazy stunts are they going to do next? Mine is coming from a place of like people are exhausted. Like this is feeding into this sort of like censorship feedback loop, because
mm,
even though it's not new for someone to do a multiple hundreds of people gangbang in porn, like it happened multiple times before now, and some of them were very, very famous, very well known, very, very like large numbers of sales in like DVDs and VHS back when that was a thing. Like a lot of people were buying those back in the day, but it wasn't like some giant scandal that everyone was talking about. I think that's just because it wasn't on the internet. Um, and it wasn't on the internet and being advertised on platforms where like children also use the platform, which is of course a big part of like the censorship we're experiencing now. It's all being done in the name of quote unquote protecting children, even though we could talk about how true that is effectively. Um, but really the thing that I find concerning about it is I like that you called it an arms race, because that does feel like it rings true. Um, and I think it's just feeding into the desire to further censor and like force age verification on the entire internet, because stunts like these are being advertised on platforms that are accessible to everyone. And while I don't like the way that our lawmakers in the US are going about approaching age verification right now, I'm in favor of age verification that is safe and that actually works. And that is not what we're getting right now. But it does not help the whole situation that this like sexual stunt work is, being advertised, essentially being marketed on platforms like Instagram and TikTok and
I can I can see
wherever
the
else.
danger of that being weaponized in a way
Yeah.
that's concerning for sure. But I want to talk about the internet in terms of all of our fields. Like I'm in music, Anna's in journalism, and
Mhm.
you're in sex work. And one of, I mean, I think one common thing across all three is how the internet has completely changed the economy
Mhm.
of all of them. Um, and I've heard you mention a
People
couple
hate
times.
paywalls. That's how it's changed it, is people
Yeah.
don't want to pay for anything.
I've
Yeah.
heard you mention a couple times in this conversation that you monitor or you pay attention to how people engage with sex work. Do they pay for it or not? That seems to
Mhm.
be a big question.
Mhm.
And in our increasing digital age, everyone expects music to be free, expects journalism to be free, expects their porn to be free. Like
Mhm.
how do you go about having those conversations and trying to change people's minds and at this point, you probably sort of have to win them over to a philosophy of actually putting some skin in the game for the
Yeah.
entertainment that they're consuming.
Yeah. I mean, increasingly, this is just the only way that I find it to be like effective as an ask, is because I do have a really I really like my followers. Like, they're very cool people. I also know, like, statistically, in terms of like how many people follow me on all the regular social media platforms versus how many actually subscribe to like OnlyFans or something. Now, I do realize a portion of people just like to hear me yap. They don't really need to see the adult stuff, and I'm like, cool, that's great. Um, but I just basically phrase it as like, even if you're not wanting to like watch the stuff, like if you like anything I'm doing, like finding a way to support is still better than never
Mm,
supporting. I don't really like being in that position, but it is just kind of, that's a position that all creators are in. Like, it
exactly.
doesn't matter. It's just like, yeah, sure, most of my money is coming from OnlyFans, but like the only reason I don't have a Patreon is because then I'd have to be making just as much safe for work content for a Patreon as I do NSFW content. And that seems unmanageable. But like, but it's the same model, and and I just don't know that a lot of people like actually understand that.
You know what they say. Early bird gets the ultimate vacation home. Book early and save over $120 with Vrbo. Because early gets you closer to the action, whether it's waves lapping at the shore or snoozing in a hammock that overlooks, well, whatever you want it to. So you can all enjoy the payoff come summer with Vrbo's early booking deals. Rise and shine. Average savings $141. Select homes only.
In this week's bonus segment, Siri Dahl explains how laws framed as protections around online safety and age verification won't stop there. They threaten privacy, creative freedom, queer expression, and the platforms artists rely on to make a living.
It's not just about the adult industry. It's about all of us. Hear the full bonus edition at patreon.com/pastdue. And while you're there, you'll get a bunch of other bonus content, join a community of like-minded creators, and it helps support the podcast. Now back to the show.
One of our goals on this podcast. I think, we understand that a lot of creatives listen to this podcast,
Mhm.
and it's amazing the feedback we've gotten from people in
Mhm.
comedy, journalism, music. We want to expand the kinds of creators we want to talk to. You were on our list from the beginning. Like, I'm interested in talking to people from Etsy, I'm interested in talking to people who are chefs, like
Mhm.
people who have seen the economy change in a way that directly affects their ability to continue doing basically the thing that they love and the thing that
Mhm.
they're good at, right? Like, I think
Mhm.
anyone who's in this economy, we're not in it for the money, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't become if I would not have become a journalist if what my goal was to get rich, right? Um, but a thing I think about a lot when it comes to sex work being the leading edge, of the creative economy is I saw a panel at South by Southwest probably 15 years ago that was a bunch of sex workers talking about the decline of even for them at the time, people willing to
Mhm.
pay for porn.
Mhm.
And I remember them talking about this, that the only thing that they found people willing to really pay for was personal interaction,
Yes.
like a one-on-one relationship
Mhm.
and the illusion of a
Yes.
one-on-one relationship, right?
Mhm.
I kind of love that in porn, it's more explicitly an illusion. Like the parasocial relationship, people are kind of a
Mhm.
little more like, yeah, I understand she's not really my girlfriend, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, Whereas in our, industries, I think people have a harder time understanding that there is a
Mhm.
boundary there.
Mhm.
And that leads me to, I guess, I'm curious about your perspective, which is that this is wonderful to be able to create a way of just monetizing one-on-one relationships.
Mhm.
Sure, that's what people are willing to pay for, right?
Mhm.
You have an OnlyFans, like people writers can have newsletters.
Mhm.
I think podcasting is a little bit a form of that, and one of the
Yeah.
reasons why it's been durable. Mike, feel free to tell me what the version of that is in your industry. Like
The
this,
the one-to-one sort of thing?
yeah,
I'm
or
not
the
sure there is one.
the intimacy. It might be live
It
shows.
might be, yeah, like a small live show or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Rhett's doing actually our friend Rhett did this last week's interview is doing like a online live show,
Mhm.
right? I know he does this fairly often. And that's wonderful. And I think there was a lot of enthusiasm around that, especially in my industry around journalism. But here's I think the danger there
Mhm.
is it's exhausting
Mhm.
to maintain those relationships,
Mhm.
even if they're parasocial, right?
Mhm.
Even if they're not quote unquote real.
Mhm.
The amount of work you have to do to satisfy that,
Yeah.
right? The newsletters you have to produce, I don't know, the tours you have to do, the number of times you have to be out on the road for people like Mike. Uh,
Mhm.
it's hard on a creator.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it also separates us from each other
Mhm.
Mm.
because we're so focused on like, okay, I gotta do this newsletter. I gotta do this
Mhm.
newsletter, like I gotta think
Mhm.
about the newsletter. I'm not interacting with an editor. I'm not in a newsroom bouncing ideas off other people.
Mhm.
And I think ultimately it keeps us from organizing. But I'm curious if your experience in your industry maps onto that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did I basically always feel burned out. Like it never really goes away. Um, like a lot of my personal relationships suffer because I lived in Kentucky for 10 years and then moved to LA last September. So I've been living here for close to a year now. And before I moved out here, I was flying out. I lived in Kentucky full time, and I was flying out to LA every month and spending a week out of every month in Los Angeles. And when I told all of my professional and personal friends in LA, like, hey, I'm moving out there, like I'll be a permanent LA resident soon. I think a lot of my like close personal friends who live here were very excited because they were like, oh, I'll get to see Siri more often.
Mm.
And, ironically, now that I live here, I have far less time to interact with those friends because being in the hub of it all, um, it's like I don't have compartmentalized time. Back when I used to travel here, I would have, like, this week of a very compartmentalized time where it was like, my whole point of being in LA is to shoot, to make content, and then I go home. And so any time I was here for that week that I wasn't actively shooting was just kind of like open time. I wasn't gonna be doing anything else with it, so I would just fill it in with social events and hanging out with friends. And I have a handful of friends here who have very recently texted me to be like, I miss you. Are we ever gonna hang out again? And it's just like I have to prioritize like all of these things. And it's just because keeping up with the demands of this kind of job is honestly very like okay, this is gonna sound like so intense, but it kind of feels like slowly drowning
Mm.
with no real end in sight. It's a lot because there's just no end to it. Like, and I'm saying that from a position of relative privilege because I've been in the industry for a long time. I've been doing this for a while. I like have all the contact, like I have all the tools I need to like make the content to satisfy like most of the demand for what I have, but I'm still behind all the time. And I have skills to efficiently take care of all the things on my to-do list, but I'm still behind all the time. Like, you know, um it's that plus I'm doing this and then there's always the weight of knowing like, okay, how am I going to get more eyeballs on my stuff? Because with the economy, it's just like slowly the subscriber numbers, the people who are willing to pay for this stuff is slow. It just slowly dwindles. It drops. Like I've made, my income is 30% lower in 2025
Wow.
than in past years. And it's been going like, it's been dipping a little every year since essentially the peak, which was 2020, because everyone was at home.
Right. So, all of these factors are converging, right?
Mhm.
Like, the industry work is appearing less and less. You're depending more and more on OnlyFans, which
Mhm.
is, putting a lot of burden on you as a creator, producer, marketer, promoter,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
all of that. And, as we've been sort of discussing,
Mhm.
it you have to like encourage and almost nurture all of these
Mhm.
parasocial relationships because it's so
Absolutely.
important to your income.
Absolutely.
It just seems like a lot to balance, and it seems like it's always going to be requiring more. Um,
Yes, pretty
I'm
much.
I'm curious, like if there's anyone in your purview, like in your industry or even out of it, who you feel like is actually sort of balancing this, right? Like if there's anyone you're looking to, like, oh, this person's sort of figuring out how to ride the line, or like that sort of success story, given how all of us seem to be in a very similar position in terms of trying to maintain, uh, all of these little miniature parts of a small
Mhm.
empire, and
Mhm.
also maintain our personal mental health.
Yeah. Not off the top of my head.
That's real.
Also, like, I mean,
That's real.
out of all the people I know, because I I know like just about everyone who's LA based, at least in the industry. Like I've met most of the people in the industry, and some of them I know obviously far better than others. But so it's not like I know the details of everyone's thing. But like, but no, everything I just expressed is like a pretty common thing that I hear other people talk about. So I don't know that there's anyone that I'm aware of off the top of my head who's just like just absolutely
Killing
doing a
it.
great job, just
Yeah.
doing super cool and doesn't ever feel overwhelmed. Like, the people who don't have the mental disabilities that I have, because I do have very severe ADHD and I'm unmedicated, and that really does not help with all of this. Like a lot of when I talk about like my own struggles with like keeping up with everything, it's like a lot of it is just like this is hard for anyone no matter who you are, but I do feel like yes, it's maybe particularly challenging for me in a flow way because I can't ever seem to get into like a flow state with anything because my brain won't let me. Um but yeah, even among my friends that I know who are like, less neurodivergent and incredibly financially successful, it's like that success and they make it look easy a lot of the time, but I know from a personal friendship perspective how much they like that is coming at a price. Like it's coming at a great cost of like just an incredible amount of stress. And some people just hide it really well. But I don't really know a single person in this industry that doesn't experience that level of stress. And by the way, like in the last question that I answered, I feel like I should mention this because it's I don't know that anyone would just intuitively know this if I don't say it out loud, but I have help. I'm not doing everything on my own all the time. I have a business manager that helps me with a lot of projects and like just trying to keep me organized. And I also do have help with like my content production. Um and that's, I can afford to I pay people to help me. And yet still like it's like this insurmountable like mountain of stuff.
I wonder, do you think there's a lot of neurodivergent people in your industry? Because I know that in my industry, like something about what we do, I think probably true for Mike.
Oh yeah, we're
like we're weird. Like we wouldn't do this.
Terrible things to say about the mental health of the people in my industry.
I think that I've been saying for years that the vast majority of people in porn, especially those who pursue like an individual content creator like type of career, are neurodivergent in some form. It's just a really common pattern. Like, but I also more and more, I think that like a lot of people who are attracted to doing like independent media as like a thing, like being a content creator, quote unquote, like it just sort of lends itself to like some like many forms of neurodivergence. Like the last office job I had, I was suffering. I was suffering and all of my colleagues were suffering because of my mistakes that I was making, because I just genuinely could not keep my shit together in that environment. Like I liked what I did. I actually liked the work, but I know that I would have actually been so much better at that work had I just been allowed to do it at a pace that worked for me, in a way that worked for me, and like maybe in a less fluorescently lit cubicle environment.
The one thing I knew growing up, I always wanted to be a writer. I had other things that I also wanted to do, but the one thing I remember telling people was I can't work in an office. Like from a relatively young age, like at least like high school. Like I remember, and part of it was because my dad was a professor, and that was the lifestyle I was like that. Like I don't want to have to show up at a specific place at a specific time every day.
Yeah.
Like I can't. And the times in my life when I've had to, I've been particularly miserable. Mike and I have talked like, when is the last job we've had, and how, in a way, it's kind of disappointing. I don't think I can get one again if I would ever wanted one.
I tried last year. It didn't work.
Yeah. I really don't think I could do it.
You were tired early on in your career.
I did.
And did you do a normal job in between retirement and coming back?
That's when the office job I just referenced happened. Because I started out in porn in 2012 and was, launched my career and was pretty successful and had a lot of fun with it. And then by basically January 2015, I retired. And that's at that time, like I retired and moved across the country, moved to Kentucky, got a civilian job, was like intent on having a more boring life. And yes, I worked a couple different jobs, and the last one I worked before I came out of retirement and started doing porn again was in an office. I worked as like a copywriter and editor. Like I said, I actually really liked the work that I did. I just couldn't, the environment sucked. It sucked so much. And the structure, the way that the work itself was like structured didn't really work for me, but yeah.
I feel like we should probably be winding up, but I have so many questions.
Same.
Really appreciated talking to you. We're going to have you back maybe. Like
I would love to come back.
when you were talking about people not like losing touch with people that when moving to LA, like people that you kept in touch with before you were there. I've had that happen in Austin, but I think it's because people take you for granted. Like not me, like as a person for granted, but like it's just not like, oh, Anna's in town, let's meet up for lunch. But it's like,
Yeah,
do it
it's like I'm
later.
here forever now, so I don't need to rush to see any of you.
Yeah.
I love the education component here, and I could literally listen to you explain all of this stuff forever. But given that this show is all about people trying to survive the creator economy, one of the most important things we do on this show is we provide the space for our guests to plug your stuff. So the floor is yours. Let us know how we can support you.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of ways to support me, actually, because I do a lot of things in adult and also a lot of things that aren't directly in adult. So if anyone's listening to this and you're like, she seems interesting, but I don't really have an immediate desire to go
look at her naked. See, that's
watch,
the thing for me right
know,
now is like, I think you're great. Now, do I want to see her naked? Like, I mean, I have friends I want to see naked, but it usually doesn't come up as like a possibility, you know?
Yeah. Well, if anyone who's listened to this podcast episode who's enjoyed this conversation would probably enjoy the YouTube stuff that I've been doing lately. Which honestly, I didn't even really intend to like start doing video essays and like long ass deep dive YouTube lives, but I had to because in order to get my channel remonetized, which is like a domino effect, I was like, I need my channel remonetized before we do the Corn Telethon because it's a fundraiser stream and we need to be able to accept like super chats and stuff. But I have to get my channel remonetized first. So how do you get your channel remonetized? You have to meet a certain minimum watch hours. So I basically just have been doing this like, all right, I'm just going to start like pumping content into YouTube to meet the watch hour requirement. And I've enjoyed it so much that I'm just like, I'm just going to keep doing this now. This is going to be like an arm of like my career that I do. So I've recently done several YouTube videos that are like hour-long like deep dives into a lot of what we've been talking about like age verification, censorship, like viral burnout, just because all of this stuff is very interrelated. So if you want to check out my YouTube, my username is just Siri Dahl, SIRIDAHL. My website is SiriDahl.com. You can follow me on regular social media as well. All the links are on that SiriDahl.com. And then Corn Telethon, that's the really big one. And that is, I mean, that's to support nonprofits. So, but it is very important to me that we get as much support as we can for the event. So Corn Telethon, which, I mentioned earlier, is a 12-hour live stream variety show. We had 47 guests last year.
Wow.
So in that 12-hour span, I host the whole thing, but it is just a grueling, like a marathon level, like interview event variety show, like just like Mike, we have, live music throughout the day. And just so many contributors, so many interesting people.
When is it?
September 4th.
Nice.
It is on September 4th from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And corntelethon.com is the website. It'll be like the live feed will be on the website, and there's also more information on the website.
You got a big fresh billboard up here in LA too.
We got a billboard in LA. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm on a billboard. And I said it's a fundraiser, but I didn't say for what specifically.
Oh,
we are all the funds we raise are donated to nonprofits that provide sex worker mutual aid, which is like it's always been important, but it's like in a dire situation level of important now because of all the censorship and so many people losing their livelihoods due to the fallout effects of all this. But yeah, the two beneficiaries are SWAP Sex Workers Outreach Project, Los Angeles, and Sex Worker Aid, SWADE, Las Vegas, which are the same two that we donated to last year. And it made a huge difference for them. So we're hoping to at least like double, triple, hopefully, ideally quadruple the amount that we raised for them this year.
It was amazing. It was an amazing time. And thank you for your time and this amazing conversation. Thank you for all you do, the entertainment, the advocacy, all of it. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you all having me on.
All right. I think it's time. And I think it's time for us to plug our own things.
Yeah. Who goes first? Do we do I forget who went first last
I
time.
vote you.
Okay. So the thing I'm really pushing right now is my writing workshop, and I will offer a coupon code to past due listeners. And I'm going to make it right after we finish the show. I'll make it past due 10 for 10% off the workshop. And the workshop is a workshop for people, I like to frame it as who have a before and after in their lives. A thing that they went through that changed them. It can be recovery. It can be an event, a diagnosis, a divorce ending or beginning, a job. I've had all of that kind of experience come through. It is 12 weeks. You'll get an essay at the end of it that you've written. People seem to really like it. I think I'm really good at it. You can go to my website, annamariecox.com/workshop and find out more. And again, if you're listening, you can get 10% off. I also have scholarships and tiered pricing for the people who are listening who may not feel like, they may feel like it might be out of reach for them. So again, that's going to be past due 10 for 10% off.
All right, you use that code, y'all. Get your 10% off. If you're a listener, there's going to be people who don't hear this, and they're going to pay full price. You don't have to be one of them. You can take this wonderful class from a wonderful writer and educator with a little discount just because you heard it here first.
And Mike, I know one thing you're promoting right now.
I wonder if it's the same thing I'm promoting.
What do you got? What's the big thing? And then I don't know. What else? Throw it in there.
Big things. Album still out. Vinyl still on sale over at Bandcamp if you search Open Mike Eagle. But I'm also technically still on tour right now. So that's the thing that's most present in my mind right now. Starting in August 31st. Starting on August 31st. I hit the road again. This time with the band Fantagram. I'm opening for them.
What a lineup, Mike.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Going to be in Detroit, Rochester, Albany, Montreal, Portland, Maine, Norwalk, Connecticut, Allentown, Pennsylvania, Huntington, New York, and Richmond, Virginia. And then I announced some headlining shows in October in Orlando, Miami, Atlanta, Yucca Valley, California, and Phoenix. All of those tickets for all those are available right now if you look on mikeeagle.net.
Mike, how are you going to be taking care of yourself during that? That sounds exhausting.
Well, the first way I'm going to be taking care of myself is making a bunch of money. That's the first. That's the way I'm most looking forward to, is reducing the amount of financial stress in my life by making a whole bunch of money on days back to back. It'll be really cool.
Okay.
But I do my reading on the road. I take my little comic books with me on my little iPad, and I drive around, especially on this tour. I'll be driving around a lot by myself, allowing my thoughts and my trains of thought to go on uninterrupted for hours at a time. And that actually feels really healing for me. I've discovered that on the last leg, that I can also pretend like it's 1994 in my touring vehicle, and I can play Frank Black and King Missile and They Might Be Giants and Tribe Called Quest and feel my feelings. It's actually really good for me.
Right. I know how hard it is. I know you get a lot out of it. I know you get a lot out of it. But
it's true. It's true.
It's a lot. So take care of yourself. And y'all who are listening, we know what it's like to put yourself out there again and again and again. So I hope you're taking care of yourselves too.
Till next time.
Past Due is hosted by Anna Marie Cox and Open Mike Eagle. It's produced by Andrew Steven. You can find more at pastduepodcast.com. Help support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/pastdue. You'll get bonus content, extended interviews, and more. As always, if you like what we're doing, another way to help is by subscribing, sharing the show, and leaving us a review. Thanks for listening.
Sometimes it feels like red and blue states are just as divergent as post-World War II East and West Germany. So what can the US learn from German political history in order to create a more perfect union? Find out on the new season of The Future of Our Former Democracy, the Signal Award-winning podcast from More Equitable Democracy and Large Media. Hosted by me, Colin Cole, and Heather Villanueva. It's time to rethink democracy. So follow The Future of Our Former Democracy wherever you get your podcasts.
Not all darkness is dangerous. Sometimes it's the doorway to becoming whole. On the brand new podcast, The Shadow Sessions, hosted by me, Hibab Al-Faqih, a psychologist and trauma expert, we shed light on the hidden corners of the human experience. Through raw, unfiltered conversations from the edge of healing, The Shadow Sessions invites you to do the deeper work that leads to real change. Follow The Shadow Sessions wherever you're listening now.